Humpty Dumpty, A Tale of an Adventurous Egg. Humpty Dumpty was a curious egg. He loved to explore and see the world around him. One day, Humpty saw a high wall. He wondered what was on the other side. Humpty decided to climb the wall. He took his time and was careful not to fall. Finally, Humpty reached the top of the wall. He could see the whole city from there. But Humpty was so excited that he didn't watch where he was going. He lost his balance and fell off the wall. All the king's horses and all the king's men tried to put Humpty back together, but they couldn't. Humpty Dumpty was never the same again, but he learned a valuable lesson about being careful. Humpty Dumpty was never the same again, but he was still a happy egg.
Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Once upon a time in a deep, dark forest lived three bears, a big bear, a middle-sized bear, and a little bear. They lived in a small cottage together. They all lived happily together. Every morning, they would cook porridge for breakfast. One day, they cooked a big pot of porridge and went for a walk in the forest while it cooled. While they were away, a little girl named Goldilocks wandered into the forest. She was hungry and tired. She saw the cottage and decided to go inside. She found 3 bowls of porridge on the table. She tasted the big bear's porridge and said, "This is too hot." She then tasted the middle-sized bear's porridge and said, "This is too cold." Finally, she tasted the little bear's porridge and said, "This is just right." She ate it all up. Then Goldilocks went to the bedroom. She tried the big bear's bed and said, "This is too hard." She tried the middle-sized bear's bed and said, "This is too soft." Finally, she tried the little bear's bed and said, "This is just right." She climbed into it and fell asleep. When the 3 bears returned home, they found Goldilocks sleeping in their little bear's bed. They were very surprised. They woke her up and told her to leave. Goldilocks was scared and ran away. She told everything to her grandma. She never went back to the 3 bears' cottage again. The Ugly Duckling. Once upon a time, there was a mother duck who laid a clutch of eggs. All of the eggs hatched into beautiful ducklings, except for one. This duckling was big and clumsy, and he had a long, ugly neck. The mother duck was surprised to see him. The other ducklings made fun of him and called him names. All the ducklings play together and have fun together, except him. The ugly duckling was very sad and lonely. He didn't know where he belonged. One day, he decided to run away from home. He swam across a lake and found a group of wild ducks. The wild ducks were not as mean to the ugly duckling as the other ducklings were. They accepted him for who he was. As the years went by, the ugly duckling grew into a beautiful swan. He had a long, graceful neck and a beautiful body. He was no longer ugly. He was one of the most beautiful swans in the pond. All of his friends praises him for his beauty. The ugly duckling had finally found his place in the world. He was no longer a misfit. He was a beautiful swan. The moral of the story is that it's okay to be different. Everyone is unique. The Lion and the Mouse. A fable about friendship and gratitude. Once upon a time, in a big green forest, there lived a mighty lion. One day, as the lion was napping under a big shady tree, a tiny mouse scurried over his paw. The lion woke up with a start. He was so surprised to see such a small creature on him. Before he could swat the mouse away, the mouse squeaked.
Oh, great lion, please don't eat me. I'm so small and harmless. I promise to help you if you ever need it.
The lion thought the mouse's plea was funny. He was so big and powerful, how could a tiny mouse possibly help him? But he was also a fair king, so he decided to let the mouse go. A few weeks later, the lion was caught in a hunter's net. He struggled and roared, but the net was too strong. He thought he was doomed. The mouse had seen the lion trapped and knew just what to do. The mouse scurried up the net and nibbled at the ropes. After some time, the ropes were finally chewed through, and the lion was free. The lion was so grateful to the mouse for saving his life. From that day on, he never forgot the lesson. Even the smallest creatures can be of great help.
The Ant and the Grasshopper. Once upon a time, there was a hard-working ant named Alice and a carefree grasshopper named Freddie. Alice spent her days gathering food and storing it away for the winter, while Freddie hopped about singing and playing. Freddie asked one day,
"Why are you working so hard, Alice? The sun is shining, and the food is plentiful. Come and play with me."
Freddie,
Alice replied.
winter is coming, and there won't be any food to be found. I'm making sure I have enough to survive.
Freddie just laughed.
Don't worry about winter. There will always be plenty of food.
As the days turned into weeks, the weather grew colder and colder. The food became scarce, and Freddie began to starve. He went to Alice's home and asked for food.
I'm sorry, Freddie.
Alice said.
I told you to prepare for winter.
Freddie felt ashamed of his laziness. He promised to learn from his mistake and help Alice gather food for the future. From that day on, Freddie worked just as hard as Alice, and they both had enough food to survive the winter.
The moral of the story is, hard work and preparation are essential for success and overcoming challenges.